Welcome back to the Grieving Sisters. I'm Jessica.
I'm Elizabeth.
And listen, this has been a long time coming. And again, now we're excited because we have a full table to talk. But we wanted to bring on the Hearse Whisperers.
Thank you.
I love it. So, I mean, Michele, Dave, whatever, if you want to do. And yes, this is Mr. Feeney, too.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know,
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Good luck.
1990s babies. Well, we're 80s babies, but we're 80s babies, but we grew up on 90s TV, and we really appreciate it. So now we know that this is something we really needed to do.
It's it.
But I wanted to just jump right in, only because I have like my tinfoil hat questions, and then I also have, our questions just for our audience, just to also help them, during the process and all the in-betweens. But go ahead, you guys introduce yourselves and let them know that you have a podcast.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here, girls.
Yes.
David Feeney from Feeney Funeral Home in Ridgewood. Way over the hill.
Yeah. And for Boy Meets World.
Yeah. Again. But, okay. But that's it. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. And I'm Michele DeBellis, also from Feeney Funeral Home in Ridgewood. And we are so excited.
I know.
We love this collaboration.
Yes.
This is right on brand for us.
It's so on brand, yeah.
So excited to be here.
Yes, and thank you so much for taking the time out just to even come on. It's a beautiful day. Yes, we're getting to finally nice weather.
Finally.
The snow really, they threw us for a loop. But you guys also have your podcast, and you talk about a lot of like Mythbusters and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to kind of dive right in because I have I have so many questions.
Okay.
In addition to like what we send to you guys, but just like basically the funeral myths and reality when it comes to funeral homes. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and tell us.
We'll give you all the answers.
Yeah, we're ready
no
for
comment.
it.
What inspired you both to work in the funeral industry?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Family business.
Okay.
So I started, the original funeral home was in Patterson on Park Ave, and it was an old mansion. So my grandmother lived upstairs, my Aunt Marge lived upstairs, my Aunt Kath lived upstairs, my Uncle Jim lived upstairs.
Wow.
So when we went to visit, I went upstairs. And then when you get to be in 4th or 5th grade, it was my uncle and my dad were in the business, and one of them would say, why don't you come down and dust the furniture? So I'd go down and dust the furniture.
Sure.
And then that was the slippery slope. And then eventually you'd end up going downstairs and helping dress somebody. So you just kind of grew up with it. So I really wasn't that afraid of it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I didn't get spooked once in a while.
Yeah.
And then one day I was supposed to be washing the windows or something, and I walked into the embalming room for some reason to get a bucket or something, and then they were preparing somebody on the table, and it just stopped, and I was like, whoa.
That's creepy.
And then they just said what they were doing, and then eventually you go back in and kind of look, and then...
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit more the norm. The
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
the
You're
more
exposed to it.
And then you're in high school, and they say, hey, you want to help carry the casket? And you're doing that, and the next thing you know, you're doing the door duty and getting people at night out of the houses, and
That's
and
amazing.
you're doomed.
Right.
And that's it.
There
I
you
mean, it's a
go.
business that's always going to be in business,
Yeah.
right?
absolutely.
Unfortunately, right? But this is where we are. But we're grateful for you even having a funeral home, right? Because there's some funeral homes like they've lost a lot of empathy. I feel, and it's very easy to get burned out. It's very easy, especially like the more and more people that live just in this area alone. I mean, look at the traffic. I mean, it's a nice day and the traffic is nuts,
Yes.
It's pandemonium out there. But Michele, what about you? What landed you here?
So I have a little bit of a different experience. I'm not really a family, grew up in the business, but I think what led me to it is the helping of people. I wanted to be a vet when I was growing up. I worked in... did you really?
I did,
Yeah.
but then I saw how long it took, and then I had to take care of spiders, and I was like, no.
And
Spiders, that's where we draw the line.
I'd like to say I'm pretty smart, but the schooling for that is ridiculous. Long, very involved. So as I went through college, that's what I was going to do. Then I shifted because I was still into animal science, into pharmaceuticals and other. I mean, science was really my thing. Is my thing.
Yeah.
So I think there was that helping people, helping animals, always in my background.
Sure.
And then when I decided to do this, I think the science aspect is kind of what drew me to it.
Sure.
Like, I love anatomy. I think I could be good at embalming, things like that. And then you quickly realize that that's such a very small portion of what we do.
Yeah.
And then I just fell in love with helping people.
Sure.
And so like my reason for doing this is
Your purpose.
The purpose is to make somebody as happy as they can be given the situation,
Right.
to have the most satisfying kind of experience.
Yeah.
And that closure.
Just to make it personal for them. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Do you? I know when I was in cosmetology school, I know, fun fact, it's crazy.
Oh, wow,
I went
that's
from,
interesting.
fun fact,
She's
right?
like,
Fun fact. I'm very decorated. I've lived several lives, right? But when I was there was one woman, she was adamant to being a mortician. Adamant. And I was like, the only mortician I know is Elvira. Like, that's my girl, you know? Like, again, wow, I'm really aging myself this episode, aren't I?
I know Elvira.
I love me some Elvira. She's fabulous. But like that's it. And like the Addams family, that's the only, and I feel like it was always like so dark, and it's not dark, and I feel like shedding light on that, like these are still like human beings. Like one of our latest episodes that we did, we actually talked about body farms and how to donate the body for science and stuff like that. So that's why I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect.
I love how we said body farms, and they were like,
Yeah.
because when we were researching it, it was like an out of this world topic.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's
And one of my
nice
clients actually told me, she was like, Jessica, have you ever heard about the body farms? I was like, no.
That was
I was like, I haven't went down that rabbit hole yet.
Not like a corn farm. No.
Yeah.
No.
So there was the one woman, she was like adamant about being a mortician and making people, her goal was to make the person look exactly the way that they were, right? Because again, you don't want them to look, I don't know, disfigured, unnatural, disfigured, not themselves, right? Because this is going to be the last time, let's just say for the family, if it's a private thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then my other question that I had was, what's the biggest myth? What do you think is
What do people get wrong the most?
There's so many.
What's your top three?
Top three.
Same person.
Yeah, literally today.
All right.
I think, and it's not really a myth, but one of the things that myths me is we are constantly bombarded with, oh, I hope I don't see you soon. Oh, hey, people are dying to see you.
God, the corny jokes.
Oh, my God. And you get so tired of it. But then, and I said it at in the Rotary, of course.
Okay, yes, you have to be.
And it was my day to do the program. And I just said, I said, I'm looking out here. And I say, every one of you has told me one of these terrible jokes. I said, but I'm looking out here, and every one of you has had a death in your family, and all of a sudden you're not joking.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's not funny.
No.
And all of a sudden, old
Here we
Dave
are.
is suddenly very useful and nice. And, what do you think, Dave? What do you think? So to me, that's one of the myths. I have to think of the myths.
Yeah.
You're better at that.
Oh, well, I can think of, let's see. I mean, okay, one that really gets me is people, for some reason, have a conception that funeral directors are, like, wealthy and making this huge profit.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
That is certainly not the case. You can look up statistics. You can see what average salaries are. It's a very average type of position.
Sure.
And my best response to that is that operating a business that's available to you 24/7
It's
with
not
the
easy.
staff that needs to be available 24/7 is costly. Overhead is costly.
Yes.
So like for the most part, I don't know of any business that's just making so much money.
Right.
It is a costly thing to do.
Sure.
So that's one big, I think, misconception.
I just thought of one, that people move after they're passed away.
Oh, I'm digging. I have questions on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever
All
gotten
right.
spooked? Like somebody, like you put too much embalmable food and they're like smack you one? Like
no.
what?
No, but when I was younger, we had, I was there at night and I was preparing somebody. And we talked about this the other day. The one of the tests for death that you learn in embalming school is if you make an incision with the scalpel, if the blood follows the incision, that means the heart's
It's still
pumping.
going.
So, of course, being really a rookie, with brown hair and everything, and I did the incision, and of course, in your mind at 2 a.m, you say, "Oh
It would be my luck.
Oh my gosh, this is following the," and you stare and you go, "Whoa." That was one of my big, and it ends up it was not.
Right. It was just kind of your mind playing tricks on you a little bit.
Yeah.
But has anybody?
I really love that you addressed that because I think about that too when we both were in charge of making the arrangements for our younger siblings. And sometimes you will hear like, oh, of course it's X amount of dollars. And there's this sort of feeling that funeral homes
Like you're
prey
getting
on
robbed.
people
That are
during their
vulnerable.
most vulnerable time. And that really wasn't my experience at all, you know? Like
No.
I mean, you can, like you said, quickly research what things cost.
Right.
Caskets
Even-
have costs. You can
Yeah.
choose the low end. You can choose the high end. You can choose
Rentals,
The thing
you
is, there's
can-
so many options.
Yeah. Well, and I know that because even with my dad was on Medicaid. So, and you
Okay.
know that Medicare, Medicaid, the whole,
Sure.
they made me do one of those trust, irrevocable trust. Like,
Right.
so I feel like I'm a pro at that, unfortunately.
Right. We're
Yeah.
part of a club that nobody wants to be a part of. but-
Never. And it's like, oh, thankfully that, I had put some money aside because they were like, well, you're going to be in charge of this, because Medicare is not going to cover this. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and some people really don't know the logistics behind it. I mean, from the flowers to the cards to this. And it's like, and I know that you're going to say, well, we throw in the cards. We throw in the thank you cards.
absolutely,
And because you want to do for them, you're like, all right, we already see that they're really going through it.
If anything, the funeral home, in my opinion, was like, how can we make you feel more comfortable?
Right.
Sure.
Was she religious? Do you need this sort of service? What do you need? What do you not need? My personal experience, it's interesting because my sister was gorgeous. And she took a lot of effort into her hair and her makeup. And when she passed, I had asked the question, like,
yeah, like,
is her face there?
Yeah.
You know, it was a very horrible, horrible accident. She was
Right.
hit by a truck.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So when he said, yeah, I said, okay.
right.
And I printed 4 photos of how she used to do her hair and how she used to do her makeup. And I brought the makeup bag and I said, may I speak to the person who's going to be preparing, what she looks like? And I thought, this is crazy what I'm doing.
yeah.
Because I brought these photos and I said, this is too much eyeliner.
Yeah.
This is just enough.
Right.
This is how she always parts her hair on this side.
Right.
And this is too much lip. She would really wear it like this. And I gave all these photos and I said, do you know how to do curly hair? Because sometimes you don't.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a certain hair texture, you
Yes.
don't know how to do it.
Yep.
She had her hair in a bun and she says, look, I can do the curly hair. I said, if you can, I'll come and I'll help you.
Right.
And she was beautiful.
Right.
Oh, that's
And it was
wonderful.
great. And I thought, these people must think I'm crazy to come with all these photos. And, but I was trying to help.
No.
And it was received so well. And I will forever be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
one of the
so
things-
wonderful.
Yeah. You try to do what's special, and
Yeah.
you coming with, if it was me directing, you coming with the pictures right away, that just sends not a red flag, but a big flag that this is so important to you. So
Right.
you do everything in your power to make it perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because she was military and we buried her in her whites and all this stuff. And it was so funny. You would think I'd be like, I need her thing. I was like, it's all about the eyeliner.
Yeah.
I know her. It's all about the eyeliner.
Sure.
And I'll bury her in uniform.
Yeah.
But she's wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
She likes her
Right.
sneakers, and that's what
Okay.
she's going to wear. She's not going to wear her white pumps and the military gave her. She
No.
never liked them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All right. No, that's
But those
okay.
are the type of things that people don't realize
That make a big
funeral
difference.
homes care so much. It is not
And
just
it's not
people
all.
trying to take
it's
advantage.
not all. It's
Yeah.
not all because we
No.
had a terrible experience with Nelson, with my husband's aunt. She actually passed away the same year as my brother, but she passed away in a terrible car accident. Her and her husband survived. In oh my God, I forget the country. It was one of the
Wasn't it like Belize,
Belize.
or something?
You
Yeah.
nailed it. Belize.
Yeah.
So it was a terrible accident. They were coming up the hill, head-on collision. She died over there. It took almost like so it happened in November, the day before Thanksgiving. The body didn't get here until after January. But there was
my
two other
gosh.
people. There was a man and a woman who was a couple. They were from Texas. They sent that woman to this funeral home and the other woman to over there. Yeah, it was by the time she got to the funeral home, I was like, I don't know who this person is, so rest in peace.
Right. It was
Right.
like
Because she didn't look like herself. So like,
Right.
and as like with my brother, I mean, the way he passed, it looked like he was resting, and because he
right.
had choked to death, and it looked like he was just sleeping. And I didn't even have to go that far. They were like,
Right.
"Don't worry, you don't even need to need pictures," because he was so peaceful. They didn't have to do anything to him really. Like just maybe give like a line
Yeah.
up, and he's like, "I'm making sure that I'm gonna make sure the director. I'm gonna make sure that." He does
Right.
the right, like things are the
And he
right
did.
way.
And he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But those are the crazy stories. Like even getting bodies from across.
Very difficult.
Yeah, difficult. The paperwork.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
paperwork.
yeah. So my sister passed away, and my sister and her husband had passed away in the accident, and they passed away in North Carolina. And me, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, okay, we'll put them on a plane and get them up there. And they
Right.
were like, whoa. There's stuff
don't
that
do
needs to
that.
be done. We cannot
Nope.
put a body on an airplane before
Right.
treating what needs to be treated because you want to preserve. And I'm like, we'll do it now. Like, I
Right,
want to
right,
see her now.
right.
The whole process was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
From the day that she passed to her being, taken care of a funeral home in North Carolina, then transported up here, then brought to another funeral home, to prepare. But it was so interesting. And it's just, like you said, it's a 24-hour service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because even
Yeah.
when I had to
don't
when my
realize
dad
that.
passed, I had to call, and they had a calling service, and then they called me back. So it was like, I was like, oh my God, these poor people. I can't imagine.
Yeah, we
know.
definitely wanted to make sure that we showed this sort of industry some love. We talk about it all the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
because
Oh,
there's
thank you.
so, of course, because we feel like
Well,
there's
and you're
such
human
a
too.
negative thing about it.
Yeah. Well, I have two questions. Well, one is why do families choose cremation over burial now? Besides cost, right? Because I feel like we already know to put a body in the ground right now, you're looking at over $20,000.
Yeah.
Easy. Am I being fair about it?
He's like,
I think you're
"Well, I
high.
a little better."
A little high.
He's
but
like,
no.
I
But
could
it's
do
much
better.
more
Call
than
me.
cremation.
Yes,
Much-
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes.
I mean, it depends on the cemetery, how much they charge to open and close a casket, but you're
And then the
probably
niche.
looking at
I think she's pretty accurate if you don't have the grave yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, or close.
Right.
know,
If
like
you don't have the grave, if you
you're
don't
not-
even the plaque, like we still haven't put one from my stepfather because it's over $5,000 just for the name, just to etch it into like a small little stone.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
right.
what do you do?
Right. So I think there's multiple reasons in addition to cost.
Sure.
And Dave, you could chime in if you agree or disagree.
always do.
He always does. So number one, people are not stationary anymore. People move all over the country. Families aren't all together like they used to be. So in the old days, everybody would have this like family plot in a cemetery.
Right.
And actually, it's interesting when people come to us and they have one of the like older family plots, and it'll be like for 16 people or 20, like an incredible number of people because someone in the family said, "Here's where I want my family to be."
Right.
And we're planning for the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you don't see that anymore.
No.
And people, I think, like the idea of having cremation because then that person now can go wherever, right? They
And
can,
you can
be-
make the small.
you
Yes.
can make keepsakes.
Yes.
You can
Keepsakes.
scatter somewhere that was important to the person or
Right.
to your family.
Right.
You can say, hey, I might move around the country and I want to have them with me, or I don't know where I'm going to settle. I don't want to. We are actually seeing in our business a increased amount of disinterments lately that are people who want to move someone or move or actually cremate someone
That's already been
after
buried.
it's already been buried because the family now lives in a whole different location.
Wow. So more or less, like you're not exhuming, but you're pretty much taking.
Oh, you're
body.
assuming you're taking
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah, okay.
body's coming out and then now going to a crematory to be cremated.
That's interesting.
So I mean, I in my short time of only like 11 years of doing this versus Dave,
300.
we do.
Not 300.
I know.
I mean,
Was a disinterment really an event
Yes.
back then? Now it's
Yeah.
like we do a few a year. I think a few
Wow.
a year is a lot.
That is
you know?
a lot.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And then also COVID made cremation much
Yeah.
more palatable to people because
Sure.
they didn't really have as much choice.
right?
And so I think it became where people were cremating that maybe wouldn't have chosen that had
Right.
not have been for COVID. And that has put a little bit of a speed up on it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Another thing too is convenience. If the family comes in on Monday, the person died Sunday, they come in Monday to make the arrangements. maybe the family, like Michele said, is all over the place, and they can't get here for the burial.
Right.
Like it's going to be a scramble.
Right.
So the family says, well, why don't we cremate Mom, and then we'll have the funeral on July 9th.
Right.
So then everybody
So
has
they-
2 months to come in and get it together.
Interesting. So you guys wouldn't put the body on ice. So like my dad, when my
that'd be hard.
mom was 8 months pregnant with me. So my dad wasn't here for my birth. My grandmother passed and his mom was in Ghana. And they will keep the body on ice for up to 6 months to a year. So everybody comes in. And
Oh
they
my
also
gosh.
do a lot of in-home funeral
Okay.
homes that people
Right.
come to the house and, bring the gifts and do the whole, I guess, cultural thing. But they will keep that body on ice for 6 months to a year for the whole family to come.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we definitely don't.
No,
really
no,
do that.
no. You
I
got,
would
you
have
got,
to
you got,
think.
you got like
Yeah.
what? A week. Figure it out.
I
couple
mean,
weeks now.
couple weeks probably.
Okay.
But I mean, as time goes on,
person doesn't
The
look
person
like
is
that.
not the same anymore, as your story
Yeah.
was for before. So now, as a funeral director, we have to really be honest with people. I mean, we've had people where it's like, say, a month, like 3 weeks or a month, and we've said, okay, that's fine, except we're going to recommend that.
You cremate.
Well, not just that, but like you, the immediate family, or whoever wants to see this person looking the best that they can,
Right.
come in the next week or so.
Right.
And then we're happy to wait till the next 2 weeks for your funeral. But
Sure.
like, we want you to see the person in their best possible state.
Sure.
And we just have to be honest. I think a
Yeah.
big part of our job is telling people the truth
And transparency.
and and not
Yeah.
just promising the world.
Right.
Because that's just not good for anybody involved.
I've
The
known some
alternative is
people
bad.
who cremated just because they couldn't bear to see their loved one in a casket.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's
Like
interesting.
it was like burial was
Sure.
not an option. Like
Well,
my
you even have-
mother-in-law, like my ex-husband was like, "There's no way I'm seeing her. Like there's no
Yeah,
way."
because a lot of
Wow.
people.
I
Well,
won't
so
be
it's
able to
like,
take it.
so it's cultural. Also, I have a friend. She's Palestinian and Muslim culture. She's like, you come in a blanket, you leave in a blanket. 24 hours. It's like they don't even want the women there. We talked about it on
Right.
one of our episodes, in a cultural episode, that like that's it. Like within 24 hours, the women aren't allowed to be there. They can stand all the way on the outside because they don't want, like, if it's their son or anything, they start making a huge commotion and trying to throw themselves in
That's
the
part
casket.
of the-
And I'm like, we know, we've seen it, we've been there.
Yeah.
I had to drag my mom out of the casket. I'm like, what, you trying to go with him? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
But it's like it's so different, like even with different cultures to even see that. But so now I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on and I'm going to ask you about the cremation. So now there's this thing that's going around about the ashes and how the ashes underneath the microscope looks like glitter. So a lot of people have been taking their remains. There's a company that takes the remains and uses it as glitter.
Like makeup?
Yes.
Whoa.
Or glitter. Like
That's
hey,
wild.
Michael's glitter. Like it's been
Like for artwork?
yeah, ma'am. I'm gonna send it to you.
my
It's
goodness.
all
Send it to
over.
all of us.
Yes,
It's like
it's
so
such a
interesting. Yeah.
conspiracy theory. I'm like,
we now offer glitter.
Buy all this.
Literally. Glitter becomes
Literally. But I was like, when I said, oh my God, we have the funeral people. I said, oh, I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear this.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
It makes sense, actually. It
Yeah,
does.
because they say it's like energy, and when you look at it under the microscope, there's actually a couple. Actually, she just posted something today. She's like, I didn't realize I was going to get this in depth with it, and it has something to do with the military. She started to talk about. I was like, no. I'm still going to keep my thought, because now she's opening up another box of, this Pandora box that I'm not ready to go down because I have to do this episode. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
that's what they said. Like underneath the microscope, you can see it glitters.
It sort of makes sense because what are cremated remains, right?
Right.
There are whatever is left after the process of burning has happened.
Right.
And the process of burning is mostly what's liquid and skin
Tissue.
and tissue.
Right,
and
because
all
you guys
that.
take out the metal, like kneecaps and hips and sometimes.
after it's
Actually,
done,
that happens
they do
after.
that.
Oh, okay, like they put the
They have a
metal,
magnet.
the magnet,
The magnet. Yep.
Yeah.
and they take out the fillings. Like what is it? The gold teeth? No,
No.
You guys are keeping gold teeth over there.
No,
Or what? No.
we will not. But fun fact, I'm
would
sure
faint.
Dave too. I've had people ask me to do that. And
Like to extract it.
Yeah, and give it
sure.
to them, and we absolutely will not do that.
No.
That is
What's so bizarre.
That can be considered a type of mutilation. We're not
Mutilation.
taking people's teeth out.
And besides how much legal mutilation it
Yeah,
is,
besides
you're not
that.
going to see Dave there going.
Absolutely
right.
not. We're not here to
Nope.
do that. I think the one
Never
time
sleep
they,
again.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a family really push me on it, and I said,
Yeah.
if you can get a dentist
Sure.
that would like to come here
And do it?
and do this for you, and you work it out with them,
Damn, are they that?
and
They were probably desperate for money.
yeah.
To probably pay for the
I mean,
cost.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I didn't even
but
think of
so,
Yeah.
like, so then once everything is removed, like you said, metals and such,
Sure.
now it has to be processed because they're.
What does process look like?
So, truthfully, it kind of looks like a blender. It's a
Oh.
specially made machine that's a processor, and it.
Like a NutriBullet.
Kind of, yeah.
Jessica is unhinged.
No, it's on. She's right.
I mean, just
On
with
high.
the visual, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
it's like, it's like in my field, or even like working in a school, when I used to work in a school, you can't say, oh, IEP 504. Like parents are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Right.
So to our audience, like, sure, I may know what you're talking about, like
Yeah.
an incinerator, but like, it's like, okay, does it look like a NutriBullet that I can get for
Right.
$50 at Walmart?
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like a big NutriBullet.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so like a big,
commercial.
How can we describe it?
Juicer?
A grinder.
Like
grinder?
a grinder, but almost like in a circular shape. Like if you could imagine a pot like inside of a table, or some of them could be outside. But anyway, you're processing down the bone into small fragments.
Right, correct.
So that's why if you look at cremated remains, everybody's looks a little different.
They were
Some
saying
have
that too, different
larger
colors.
pieces, some have different colors. I could see that some of the smaller metals, little pieces of a casket, right? Little pieces of things could get like pulverized and be sparkly.
Oh, because you
Like,
guys
that makes
also
sense
put
to
the
me.
casket, you put the body with the casket.
If
The body-
there is a
if
casket.
If there is
Yes.
one. Okay.
The
Yeah.
body
Oh,
always
yeah.
has to
Okay.
have an outer container. So
Okay.
you cannot
Either
go
that or a
into-
box.
Right.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
cannot
okay.
go in
I
there
didn't
as
realize
just a
that.
body.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I sense a road trip coming up?
I am so
Would you like to go on a
oh my
crematory
God.
tour?
Crematory road trip?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, because even when
We'll
I
do
did
our
it
best.
even when I did it with my brother, like the guy was like, "Do you want to come back here?" I was like,
No.
"No, not right now."
The situation.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
situation.
that's
You don't
different.
need
But
that.
but
Yeah.
like I also can see like, and then now like my therapeutic side comes in, and I have to ask like, how do you guys?
Separate.
Like, yeah, how do you separate? Like, do you compartmentalize? Do you have a therapist? Do you? And
yeah.
especially you, Dave, because you've been in the business so
Yeah.
long that it just becomes so natural to you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you take care of your mental
You
health
have-
seeing all this death?
You have a hard time grieving,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're in the business.
Right.
And that's all you deal with. But I know 1993 in May, my mother died.
Mm-hmm.
And we were busy. All of a sudden, we were busy at the funeral home. So everybody else would be sitting home going, oh. We're in there working.
Yeah.
And
You never took the time out to grieve.
no, I had a couple of friends pass away,
Yeah.
the gang,
Yeah.
and old softball buddies.
Oh.
And you're busy, and everybody else, your friends are like, ooh, and you're just kind of like thinking, do we get everything done? Is death notice done? Is the grave called? Is this
Yeah.
done? And you grieve, but it's a whole different.
It's like it
It's like
keeps
you don't have time.
present. Right. It kept you so present that you didn't even
Yeah.
have the opportunity to be like, crap, my mom is not here anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's not like, oh, poor Dave, but it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just, and you get used to it, I guess. But
Wow, you never took the time out for yourself. So
like all the guys that died, the softball guys,
my husband plays softball.
everybody
so I'm
else is
like,
destroyed. All the softball
Yeah.
gangs destroyed, and there's Dave
Running the funeral.
Running
Yeah.
the funeral, you know,
Yeah.
and you just don't have the time to do what they're doing, and you wish you did.
Right.
It's hard.
Wow. Yeah. And now I can't imagine like just someone that's doing the cremation. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I feel like that person, imagine how many bodies that they see a day. I mean, not to become so visual with it, but how many bodies did they probably see a day? How many people, like just to keep going through. When we cremated my brother, or when we did the funeral process for my brother, this was in Guttenberg. It's the newer funeral parlor. The reason why we went with it is because we lived right next door. It was a car wash.
Oh.
So we all grew up there, and then they put a funeral parlor there, Barquin. And he was crying. He was like, the most that we've seen is all young people here. So do you feel like you've been seeing a lot more of the younger generation coming in versus
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
versus older, like
Yeah.
your natural, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like naturally you would have a lot of older people, right?
Right.
And then I think that's what it is. It's so devastating when it's somebody so young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So do you feel like is that like more of the clientele that's been coming in is?
Yeah, like cancer. I mean, just heart attacks, and now it's not just men; it's women coming in.
Right.
And I remember it was an event in the '80s or early '90s. It was an event if you had a 40-year-old. I mean, it was clear the decks. So this happens once, maybe twice a year.
Right.
Now,
it's on the opposite.
Yeah,
it's
a lot
an
of
event, but it's not. Like, oh my gosh,
It's not,
you have a 40-year-old.
right. It's not so out of the ordinary now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us an event that like impacted you both individually, emotionally?
Sure.
Yeah.
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 For me, I have children, so anytime it's children, babies, toddlers, things like that. Many times the situation, not that it makes a difference, but many times it's completely unexplainable as to why something happened, or it's just a total freak accident, or something happens like that. And, as a mother, you just, you can't get over that.
Yeah.
We are human too. Like,
Absolutely.
so I've spent many times crying in my car on the way home or that, because you just.
It hits home.
It hits home,
Right.
And so for me, those are the absolute worst.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that gets you through that, at least for me, is just continuing to remind yourself that you are helping these people. Like this is a kindness you can do for them
Right.
that nobody else can do in that world.
Right.
So I think that's the worst.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
Well, I have two I can think of.
Ooh.
One was I was much younger, probably in my late 20s. And when you're that old, for some reason you think that when you hit 65 or 70, you're old, and not that you're ready to die, but you accept it more and everything's great. So we had a funeral for an elderly woman, and the husband got there, and they must have been well into their 80s.
Sure.
And so I walked the husband in, and then I always leave and let him be alone for a couple minutes. And then I stopped at the door, and it turned around. And all of a sudden, I looked in, and he just leans over the casket, and he says, I have lived with you like 65 years. What am I going to do without you?
Oh, yeah.
And I just went, whoa.
And you're in your
broken
20s,
heart.
and it's such a...
I guess you're not
broken
ready.
heart. Yeah.
Wow. So that affected me for the rest of the time.
Sure.
And then another time, it was a young boy got killed right around Christmas time.
Oh.
And it was a car accident. Freak. Mm-hmm. And his mother came in, and I'm talking to the mother, and she says, I forget how old he was. And I said, oh, first grade. And she says, you must have a kid who's in first grade. I went, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And it was just brutal. But it was just a terrible funeral. The church had just decorated for Christmas.
Oh,
so there we are going down the aisle with a little casket.
Oh, my gosh.
It was just terrible. And then we had the bag of belongings with the cards and all that.
Yes.
So I went to the house that night to bring it over, and she opens the door, and there's the Christmas tree and the presents, and I just said, I bet you half of them for him.
Yeah.
It was just,
it
was just that gets me all the time.
That was like
whenever I think of that.
Jen's cousin. He had died of a freak accident. Oh my God, we're going back good 10, maybe even 14 years ago. And I was like, is there anything I can do? She was like, here's the funeral address. And I'm like, oh, okay. I need to be there for my friend. And I went there, and they just I had to walk out because they had like the jockstrap for wrestling. They had his favorite bowl and his spoon. And when I say freak accident, it was like he was playing in the backyard with his brother, and the pole hit him in the head. It was like something like, and Karen, I mean, bless you, Karen, because I have her on social media, and she's just still living, she has other children she has to live for, and, she still has a lot of life to live through, but she always, for his birthday, she's always posting him, and he was, I think he was like 6, 7 years old.
God.
So, but like, that's what threw me for a loop. That's why I asked that question, because I'm like, you put the favorite fork, the spoon, his plate, the jockstrap, like just everything that was really personal of his, and I was just like,
makes you feel better.
I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I couldn't even deal with something like that. I thought it was really. Like a lot.
I think as you guys were sharing, I was thinking in the heartache that we've had, right? Mm-hmm. There is a blessing in there that reminds you how short life can be and how to take the things that you need to take in life seriously and the things that you don't.
Let it go.
Let it go. Do you feel like this being your career path, that you've kind of adopted that sort of like, life is short, this doesn't matter, this matters? Do you feel like you're better at kind of
separating,
going through life that way? Or, because I know you've done this your whole life. So but I know like those things that affect you, like seeing the children or someone who's been together for 60 years, like.
Yeah. I think you can still be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you get a funeral of a person who's like you, kind of. And then it kind of centers you and brings you back, and you say, I really don't care about this. You know, or that, not
I
the
think
funeral,
that's what
but whatever's,
it is. Me and my
whatever's
sister
got
were
you
very
going.
close in age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I need to really live my life a certain way after this, you know?
Yeah, like you were saying, Dave, you're human, so things still aggravate you or you still go through it. But I know that certain times it hits me, you know, especially like if your kids are driving you nuts or your job is driving you nuts or something, and then something major
that
at the
call.
funeral home, and then you're like, who cares?
Right.
Like, who even cares?
Right.
This is just so not like, why am I stressing over this? So yeah, like I think it does. We get pulled back more often than maybe like the average person.
Sure.
Because it's much different, I think, if people like read a story online or see news or something, but like we're living
Yes.
it. So
Yes.
it's different.
Yes.
We're dealing with like people in serious grief all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
I bet. I bet. What's the most bizarre thing that you couldn't help yourself but just to cackle to yourself?
Oh, like on a funeral? Or
Yeah, like you just couldn't. You just like you had to excuse yourself and just die laughing. Like what? Like, because I know that there's some bizarre things and people have bizarre requests. And listen, culturally, yeah, some stuff is really bizarre, but some stuff is like, are you freaking kidding me?
I know. I had one once. And it was a big funeral.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And,
It always is.
It always is. But it was
The drama.
50 cars and the whole
Oh,
routine.
my gosh.
And I walked in the funeral home. The hearse is ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. I walk in the funeral home. I get my folder, turn around, walk out. They're gone. They left without me.
What?
They left without me. The guy in the hearse decided that, it's time to go. And the guys doing the road, you know, they walked out. They stopped. Everybody left. I said, they left without me. Like, what are you doing?
It's like Home Alone. Yeah.
And then as it ends up, there's construction somewhere on the way to church, and they go around, and they got lost, and then they finally found
no.
And I beat them. I walked out like the back door, and I probably would have killed 9 people like Rambo.
Yeah.
Walking to the car, and then I got up to church, and I beat them by 5 minutes.
Imagine that.
And then they pull up and they get out like, wow, sorry, Dave. I'm like, sorry.
Hello.
Wait, and you're late. How are you guys late? How did I beat you? So, and then that was my.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? That real quick, like things like that.
Yeah.
Things go wrong, but
Sure.
I think that it's a lot of stuff that happens that the family doesn't even know. It's a lot of like
Yes.
behind the
It's
scenes.
like a wedding. It's like a wedding.
It's
A lot of
you're
things
on-
behind the scenes.
We're saying
Oh,
we're on
yeah.
stage.
Yes.
Right. So even though like little minute things might happen, our biggest thing is like to just make it smooth. Like clean away if a little
Yeah,
mistake,
yeah.
like our little thing, because this is the one and only time this is going to happen.
That's
Yep.
it. You
Just
get one
like you said,
shot.
like a one shot,
Can't redo
and
it.
can't redo it. So there's a
Well, you don't want to redo it.
well, you don't want to redo it,
No.
but
Well, sometimes.
It's like, why don't you come
sometimes
back tomorrow?
We,
We're gonna
we
do this again.
beg to differ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In your business.
Yeah,
Yes,
can we do a
indeed.
redo?
Yeah.
there's a huge amount of pressure on not only us but like our staff, because
Sure.
many of them are working as part-time and help, and they're all, I mean, shout out Feeney Funeral Home staff, we love you all, but
Yeah.
like we always are impressing on like this is for this family.
Right.
This is just not
Has
like,
nothing
hey,
to
it's
do
my
with us.
part-time job. Like this, we all have to be on point all
Right.
the time. So
Absolutely.
that's like, I wonder if that family probably didn't even notice. Like, there's Dave. He's at the.
I don't think they did. They
Yes.
probably thought, geez, how did he get here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he probably
he's
forgot
good.
something,
Right.
or he just wanted to get here before us
Right.
to make sure everything
Yeah.
was
He must have
okay.
a shortcut.
Yeah.
Why are his ears smoking? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now, and then, what advice would you give someone preparing for the end of life? Like, what would you say to someone like
Pre-plan.
pre-planning? Like,
Plan. We talk a lot about that on the Hearse Whisperers. really everybody should, but especially if you're in a position where their time is limited.
Yes.
Tell your family what you want. Go to the funeral home. Write it down.
It's not like you're jinxing it.
You're not
giving it bad luck.
You're not giving it bad luck. Nothing bad is going to happen because you picked up the phone and called us.
Right.
In fact, most people, we talked about this in a previous episode, like most people will say to Dave and I, oh, I feel so much better now that I just came here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just, the hardest thing is to call us and make the appointment.
Yeah.
And then once they're there,
because you guys take care of the rest.
We take care of the rest.
Yeah.
All you got to do is make the call.
And show up.
And show up.
Yeah, the casket's picked, the viewing hours, and where you're going to church, all that stuff is done.
Right. And the best part is, for the family, besides that, it's easier at a horrible time. There's less argument in terms of what did this person want? Oh, well, she said what she wants.
Right.
Let's honor her and do what she wants.
Right.
Whereas
and it gives you the space to grieve. They still gives you
right.
Okay,
we talked about that on an episode where we said it's such an act of love to the people around you to sort of take care of some of these things, because then the people who have to make arrangements for you aren't so lost and confused, and they can actually take the time to feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But even so, I also think that because they think it's bad luck to do that, and I'm like, it's not bad luck. Just
or they get superstitious about it.
Yeah. So pre-plan. But say if somebody does a pre-plan, do they still get the same pricing as they did before?
We always try to.
Or is it like yesterday's price is not today's price?
Well, if
the price is right.
If the funeral, let's say they come in on Monday.
Yeah.
This Monday, and they sit down, and the bill comes out to $10,000.
Yeah.
They give us a check for $10,000, and we put it into the New Jersey Trust Fund.
Right.
Which is 100% goes in the trust fund. We don't get a commission.
No.
So from day one, it gets interest. So that person that they did their dad.
Right.
Their dad lives 10 more years. We have to give them the current
interest.
price list.
Oh.
And maybe the funeral is not 10, but it's 15,000. Then we open up the trust fund, see the balance. The trust probably is going to be 16 or 17,000.
Right.
So it usually keeps ahead of us. But if our funeral is 15 and the trust fund is 14.5.
Right.
Go buy the other little bit. We never. I'm oh, you owe us $2,000. We are very accommodating with that.
Because the family, when they're paying $10,000 in their brain, they paid for the funeral.
Right.
So, they don't want to hear, oh, by the way, it's an extra $130.
Yeah.
You just
that's bad publicity.
Well, and even for my aunt, remember when I told you that I had to? That was a whole other disaster. My aunt was the ward of the state. She passed away on my mom's birthday. Nobody knew where she was. My brother came to me in a dream, making a really long story short. And he was like, you got to find Aunt Helen. And I'm like, okay. So I called both of my cousins. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where the last is. Long story short, found her. They cremated her. Because she was a ward of the state, they were like, just cremate her, whatever. They still had her remains. I said, actually, she was supposed to be buried with her sister in a wall niche.
Oh, in a
so
crypt.
in a bottle, in a crypt. And I'm like, no, and here's the paperwork or whatever. So I'm going back and forth. COVID happens. I'm like, come on. Wow. I was like, I called the funeral home. I called Flower Hill. I was like, Anthony, I'm not holding these I don't want this in my house. He's like, all right, bring it in. We'll hold it, but we have to get back on. He was like, after the height of it all.
I can't imagine what COVID was like for you guys.
Crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
Absolutely crazy.
Nuts. I can't imagine. But yeah, so she was supposed to, but then when I saw it was like 1992, 93, and I'm looking at the pricing, I'm like, $4,000 for this? I said 4,000. Well, per because they, it's like levels too. Sure. Like you could put two. It's supposed to be like husband, wife, whatever. That's a whole other. That's the Italian and Irish side. The fights that they fight over the casket. Yeah. So, make a long story short, when I saw the pricing of it, I was like, this is like easy 10 to 15,000 now.
Oh, for sure. From 1993
From
till
93.
now.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah. I'm just like, but I'm just so excited that you guys came on. I hope that you enjoyed your time here. And I enjoyed your time here. What do you got? I know you got something here.
A little poem.
Oh,
I've been
I love
thinking
this.
of this for weeks, okay? Coming on here.
Thank you.
At the Rotary meeting, we have this guy, Ken, who is a poet. self, poet.
Yeah.
And every week he reads a poem. Usually it's happy-go-lucky, and maybe But this one, this week he had. This is 2 or 3 weeks ago at least, right? 3 weeks. See, I think way ahead.
I love him too.
He had written a poem for his daughter who was killed in a car crash.
Wow.
And it's called Pain and Grace. And it's by Ken Heckham. Great guy. Okay. These are days of pain and grace, forever locked in one embrace, when sadness saunters side by side with endless hope like groom and bride, when love and loss both find a way to own the night and hold the day, when shadows play and ravens sing and mystery clutters everything, when right and wrong share time and space, when sweetness blends with bitter taste, when foul and fair appear as one, and darkness hides the noonday sun, when wars are fought and truces made, and children cry and games are played, when life and death cannot erase each other, this is pain and grace.
Beautiful.
Good poem. Yeah, it's like everything's confused.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we
Thank
also
you.
have a book for you.
Oh, I'm so excited. And it has like the 80s writing. You know that? Like
it's vintage. It's a vintage book.
Yeah.
I
It was
love
printed
it.
just after I was born.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
It's a grief recovery handbook,
I love that.
and it's really good. We used to do grief groups based on this.
Oh.
And the best thing about this is it has a beginning and an end, the grief group.
Oh,
So,
I love
and
that.
you have
so it's
little
almost like
charts.
your AA, like
Yeah.
like your step by step. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
And
sorry.
then-
Did I?
Yeah.
I also
kind of 12-steppy.
12-steppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it I just
Thank
read it and
you
you're gonna
so
love it.
much. I am
So-
so excited
We're
to
so
read that
excited.
book, and
Thank
I'm
you
so
so much for
excited for
coming.
you guys to come on.
We loved it.
Oh my God! Tell everyone. So like again, right? We collaborated because we're in the same studio, and it was just so
Yeah.
like perfect timing. And I always believe in alignment. Let our audience know where they can find you. I mean, besides the funeral home.
You
Sorry,
can find
guys,
us at
I'm
Feeney
not-
Funeral Home, Ridgewood, New
Ridgewood, New
Jersey,
Jersey.
and also at the Hearse Whisperers. We are currently on YouTube and Spotify, but we're looking to expand. So
Okay.
hopefully find us out there soon. But
Yes.
Hearse Whisperers.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to send you guys the conspiracy stuff.
Oh,
That's
yes.
so
Oh,
definitely.
juicy,
So-
Yeah.
so juicy.
We'll have to have you on the Hearse Whisperers.
Oh, we would
and
love
then we
to.
can interview you about the reverse of this. That would be so wonderful.
Absolutely, I love that, and
that's
I would
great.
really love that. This
Switch
was
the
so.
seats up.
That's it. Switch it up. I love it. And I want to thank everyone. We want to thank you guys for always joining us and always being so supportive. You can find us on, oh my God, here we go again, right? Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, and Instagram. And you can always reach out to us and you can reach out to them. And,
Sure.
if you have any questions about funeral planning, right? Or
Yes,
any questions
absolutely.
like that. And do you
Sure.
guys, real quick, do you guys offer legality? Do you have like a lawyer that you guys do like trust and wills and things like that?
We have quite a few. If you contact us, we have people that we work with frequently at
Okay.
the funeral
Yeah.
home. So yeah, we can get
Yeah,
happy to
because
give
I
out
feel like some
references.
people need to
Yep.
like even just hear that and just be just more mindful of preparing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.